Y'all better wake up.
Somebody just came on my feed. He's like, y'all better wake up. Yeah, y'all better wake up. Like, for real. Okay, what is energetic trauma? Okay, energetic trauma is a rupture in our energy system that's called for repair and healing. You need to reconstruct your energy field, and this is a creative healing test. Many people on earth attach this kind of energy disturbance to the past. They call it trauma. Now, how do you discharge energetic trauma? How does this put how okay, how trauma affects us energy. How trauma affects our energy. Feeling emotional numb as if it's a state of shock, becoming emotional upset, feeling extreme fatigue and tired, feeling very stressed out or anxious, anxiety. Um, now, I wanted to do something on generational trauma. So let's just do this one first. Okay, so we're talking about um, energetic trauma. Okay, so it's a rupture in your energy system that calls for repair and healing. You need to reconstruct your energy field, and this is a creative healing task. Many people on earth attach this kind of energy disturbance to the past, okay, that they call it trauma. Now, when you go through any kind of trauma, which we all in life will go through some kind of trauma, okay, that's a guarantee. All right. um it's how you trauma. There's three types of trauma, okay, and this also affects your body, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, this has happened to me before. It happens to everybody. Okay, now there are three main types of trauma: acute, chronic, or complex. Okay, acute trauma results from a single incident. Chronic trauma is repeated and prolonged, such as domestic violence or abuse. Okay, which is more than chronic. Chronic trauma should be more than just domestic violence, okay, or abuse. Any kind of abuse is chronic trauma. Okay, sexually, physically, emotionally, mentally, it's all trauma. Okay. Now, complex trauma is exposure to varied and multiple traumatic events, often as invasive interpersonal nature. Okay, so we break this down. Complex trauma is exposure to varied and manipulate trauma events. Okay, now trauma events could be being homeless. That can be traumatic. Okay, being in a car accident. Um, some people's parents get divorced. Okay, that's traumatic. Um, Sexual, physical, emotional, anything under that umbrella is traumatic. Okay, um, divorce is traumatic. Um, Losing a child is traumatic. Um, a lot of things are traumatic. Okay, but what happens is I notice is if you don't acknowledge this trauma, and then it says, how do you know if you are traumatized? You know, okay, you feel it. Okay, you feel it, you experience it, you know it. Okay. Um, Now they have seven emotional stages of trauma. Um, and this is interesting because I did something about this a long time ago on animals. Okay, how we're eating animals affects us spiritually. Okay. Um, okay, shock. Feelings of shock are unavoidable in nearly every situation. Even if we feel we have had time to prepare for loss of a loved one, denial, anger, depression, acceptance, hope, processing grief, you know, um, and there's different stages. I don't care how much books you read. Okay, I don't give a shit. There is people out here that are counseling people, and they have been through trauma. Okay, everybody goes through some kind of trauma, but the thing is how you deal with the trauma, and it's hard because actually trauma. Um, so let's talk about denial. Okay, denial is like something happened to you and you denied it happened. Okay, so you don't acknowledge it. Okay, so you carry this on for the rest of your life, not even acknowledging something happens to you. Okay, you could have been raped, you could have been domestic violence, um, emotionally abused, physically abused. So you never talk about it and you're denying it all your life. Okay, but you're living through your life with this denial. Okay, now what happens is your different things could trigger this um, trauma. So then you have children and you're projecting your trauma on your children because you never healed your trauma that you went through of denial. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you a story. There was a mother. She was sexually molested from her. She was sexually molested from her own brother. Okay, now she became an adult. Okay, so she was very promiscuous with different men. Okay, um, but she was in denial because she never said my brother molested me. Okay, so then she had different men in and out of her life. Okay, so then she has a daughter and a son. Okay, so the daughter and son sees her with different men, or the man, roles can be reversed, the man with different women. So the kids think this is okay and they think this is normal. It's not okay and it's not normal. Okay, because they are in denial of the trauma. Okay, they can't even acknowledge that the trauma happened. They're in denial. So what happens is it carries on to the next generation, to the next generation. Okay, let's talk about anger. So the mother has the denial because she was raped from her own brother. Then she has the anger. Okay, it builds up, builds up, it builds up. So she goes shopping. That's how she deals with her anger. She buys things. She buys things to help her feel good for that moment of buying something. Okay, it fulfills that emotional need of that anger. Or she might scream at her children, not realizing she's screaming at her child. Okay, then her child grows up and starts screaming at their children. Okay, does this make sense? Okay, she don't even know how to talk to her children. She just screams because this is learned behavior. She learned this from her mother and she thought this was normal. This is not normal. So depression. Now depression is interesting. Okay, um, I'm highly sensitive, like a lot of you guys are. So when you're highly sensitive, you feel everything. Okay, so depression plays a lot. Um, because you are taking in people's energy. Okay, wherever you go, you are just taking the energy in. Okay, um, and you're feeling their emotions because you're highly sensitive. You're highly clairvoyant. Okay, um, you're highly intuitive. Okay, so you feel everything around you. Okay, it can affect you. Okay, yes, it can affect you. Okay, um, and then there comes the depression. Okay, where you don't know how to channel all these emotions that you're feeling yourself and everybody else's feelings around you. So you get sad, and how you deal with it? You are just in this depressive state of mind. Okay. Yeah. And then your children see you depressed, right? So they become depressed because they see mommy in bed all day. They see mommy not cooking. They see mommy not interacting. Okay. So this is learned behavior. So they learn how to deal um, with things the same way mommy and daddy did. Okay. All right. Mommy and daddy, when they were depressed, they wouldn't do nothing. Or mommy and daddy, when they were depressed, they would drink. Or mommy and daddy were depressed, they would smoke cigarettes. Okay. Or mommy and daddy was depressed, they would lash out. Okay. So a lot of times with these stages, the first thing is the acknowledging the trauma. Okay. This trauma happened to me. Okay. It's okay for me to talk about this trauma. Okay. 1111. It's okay for me to talk about this trauma. This is what happened. Um, I'm going to acknowledge it. I'm going to talk about it. And then I'm going to get to a point where I understand this happened. And what do I do from understanding and acknowledging it? Okay. I'm not going to let this trauma define me. Okay. So I'm going to change the patterns in my life for my children and grandchildren. Okay. Okay. Everybody in life wants to be accepted, have acceptance, and they want to have hope. Everybody. Okay. But some of the acceptance out here, you don't need it. Okay. Some of it you do need. Okay. Acceptance is you want people to like you, love you, care for you. Okay. First, you need to care for yourself. First, you need to love yourself. Okay. And stop worrying about if people are going to give you the same love back because most of the times they won't. So you have to learn to love yourself. Okay. Yeah, loving yourself. Okay. So love yourself. Start loving yourself. Start being in a space of positive thoughts. Okay. And start really truly loving yourself. Do things that you enjoy doing. Okay. And if people don't accept you, then bye bye. Hope. Always have hope. Okay. Always have hope for the next day, for better days. Okay. Um, always. Okay. I've seen a lot of um, people that talk so negative. Like I've seen people like that, and I get away from those people. Okay. Because they need to have hope. So you can also give them reassurance, like you need to have some kind of hope out here. Okay. Things are going to get better because they will get better. Okay. You got to hit that rock bottom. Okay. A lot of people that are very spiritual have been through some shit. Okay. Yes. You can read all the books you want on psychology. Okay. It's not going to teach you nothing unless you've been through it. Okay. It's not. It's going to teach. I'd rather for somebody that has been through it to be my teacher than that somebody that has read a book. Okay. Learning through experience. Okay. People learn through experience. And for me, um, a lot of people that study psychology is interesting, right? Um, when I went to grieving counseling, we're going to get to grieving, okay? Accept and hope, accept the process of grieving, okay? But let's get back to psychology. And what I've learned is um, it's interesting because when you go to a psychiatrist or somebody, a mental health counselor, they also been through some shit too. Okay. But the problem is they have went to school, they have read about the mind, psychology, the conscious, the subconscious, but they never been through the real shit. So how can they tell you how to deal with a certain way, deal with a certain situation? Okay. Um, the most spiritual people that I've ever came across is people that have been through some shit. Okay, they're the most spiritual, enlightened people out here. Okay, they lived it, they walked it, they truly understand it. Okay, um, now let's talk about grief. Processing grief is interesting. Okay, I didn't even know there were stages of processing grief. Okay, this is the psychologist term. Okay, grief is a process that you can only go through. Okay, nobody can tell you when to grieve, how to grieve, when to grieve. Okay, your grieving process takes time. Okay, it could take freaking years. Okay, um, but with me, it took a long time. Okay, I'm still going through a grieving process. Okay, I have lost my father. Okay, I have lost a child. Yes, when I was pregnant, I lost a child. I know they're in the heavenly realms. Okay. I know both my father and the child that I was carrying. Okay. But I didn't carry the child full term. It was my first trimester. Thank God. Okay. There's people that have children have carried a child and lost the child, stillbirth. Okay. Or people had a child and the child died. Okay. They spent months and a couple years, and the child dies. Okay, that's different. Okay, but grief is something you should deal with on your own pace. Nobody should tell you how to grieve. Okay, nobody. Okay, if it takes you forever to grieve, grieve, but still live. Okay, still live. I remember my father said something. Man, I'm telling you, my whole life, my parents were my teachers. Okay, teachers, like for real teachers, not talking about school teachers. Okay, spiritual teachers. Okay, so I remember my father saying one thing. He said, was he didn't live. Okay, he did not live. He was programmed in the society to just work. Okay, work and pay bills, work and pay bills, work and pay bills, and then he died, and he had to do a bucket list before he died. No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to live. Okay. Um, and that was profound when he said that, because at first I truly didn't understand what he was really saying when he said, I really didn't live. And then in looking back at it, hindsight, he didn't live. He was working to pay bills. Okay. Programmed like that puppet. Okay. Have us all out here freaking programmed to work and pay bills. Okay. And people are comfortable in that space. I'm not comfortable in that space. Okay. Um, and some people, I feel they're comfortable in that space because they feel that they might fail. Okay. So what if you fail? You might fail 5 or 6 times, 10 times, 20 times. So what? Get back up and try it again, or do it different. I think people are scared to fail. I really don't care what people think of me. I can give two shits. I'm at that point in my life, and that is a good place. To get to a point where you really don't give a shit what people think of you. Okay. The only people that I really care about who think of me are my children. Okay. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to continue to live. Okay. Enjoy my life. Okay. And then when your kids get to a certain age, they're going to live their life. Okay. There's no manual on how to be a parent. Okay. But I just wanted to talk about the trauma They call it acute, chronic, or complex. Okay. Also, if you think about it, environmental, there's trauma. Okay. Um, your environment can have a lot to do with your trauma. Okay. And I'm gonna come on with a video, next video on that. Okay, this is gonna be a banger ass video, this next video. Because what I'm seeing is environmental trauma. Okay. Um, and it's with a certain group of people. And don't get me wrong, this happens with every race. Okay. But there's a scripture that I keep seeing on the spiritual realm, okay, about a specific group of people in bondage, okay, bondage, right? Also, not just bondage, the sins of the mother and the sins of the father continue to today, okay, and it talks about these people being in bondage, okay, not just in biblical texts, but the Homeric texts and other texts that I see, okay? And for years, people have been hiding this, okay? And now it's coming out and people are realizing who they were and how smart their ancestors were. Their ancestors were queens and kings, okay? They were smart. They had real civilizations, okay? But the educational system has screwed so many people up. 22, I'm timeline jumping here. The educational system. If I could redo it with my kids, I would have homeschooled my kids. Like literally homeschool my kids. Okay? Because the educational system is set up for people to fail. Okay? Yes, I'm saying it. The educational system is set up for people to fail. Okay? It's a bunch of elite families, okay, that write the doctrine for the educational system, okay, and it's set up for failure. Okay, they don't teach you about budgeting money. They don't teach you about buying a home. They don't teach you this stuff. Why don't they teach you this stuff? Think about it. It's to keep you suppressed in your environment. And some people live this way for so many years. I know a lady that lives in the projects. This is no lie. The projects, one of the worst projects, okay, for 18 years of her life. Why? Because it's a mental slavery, okay? It's a mental slavery. Maybe she was scared to step out of the unknown, something different. Maybe this was a norm for her. This was a comfort space for her, okay? But when she told me she was living there for 18 years, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, 18 years you lived here? 18 years. So that told me a lot. That told me a lot about who she was. It told me a lot of the self-esteem, this trauma. Um, and she had a beautiful Ma'at heart, a true Ma'at heart. But she was comfortable in this situation. Okay. And the environment was crazy. Okay. 18 years. 18 years. You guys gotta understand the projects. When I break the word projects down, projects. It was a project for the American government. The projects was a project for the American government after slavery. Okay, they did not know what to do with all these free slaves. They didn't know where to put them. You think Abraham Lincoln wanted to free the slaves? No, he wanted to colonize the slaves. Okay, and basically, if you think about it, they were colonized. And the reason why I'm saying they were colonized is because of the projects. Okay, the projects was an experiment for the United States government. The project. They were a project for the United States government. Just like if we can go back to Tuskegee, the syphilis, they were injecting men with syphilis. You guys, this is no joke out here. Okay? No joke. And then we have to ask ourselves, why do our children have to get vaccinated to go to school? What's in the vaccinations? I remember my mother's a nurse, okay? My nanny was a nurse. And you look at famous people, okay? And I remember one time I was downtown New York City. Never forget it. And my friend was in the hospital, okay? She almost had a baby. And I look across the street from me, okay? And I seen a hospital, because you have like Mount Sinai, you got Bellevue Hospital, you got some of the best hospitals supposedly in New York, but New York City, the hospitals are like third world countries, okay? And I look across the street, and this is only Yeshua and my angels and my ancestors. They had to show me what I had to see. What I seen, you guys, was so profound. Okay? I think it was the Rockefellers. They have a school for science in New York City. Now, I wonder what kind of science these people are doing. Okay? Think about it. Okay? In New York City, downtown Manhattan, no lie. The Rockefellers, I'm hearing the Rothschild, the Vanderbilts. See, when you speak the truth and you're the messenger, they come after you. You guys, I have been flagged on my channel. I don't know how many times, okay? I don't know when they're gonna take my channel down, but I don't care at this point in my life. But I have been flagged, okay? So I did a video on, what's his name? Carlson Tucker for Fox News. You guys, all I had on there was Carlson Tucker Part 2, and I got flagged. That was the title of the video, Carlson Tucker Part 2, and I got flagged for that video. That's not the first video I got flagged on, okay? I got flagged on past videos, okay? I was being followed, okay? So I was recording. I record everything, okay? Everything, okay? I was in a park. This is when I first got on YouTube channel, and I noticed the gang stalking, the harassment. You guys, they even come after your bank, okay? They hacked into my damn bank, okay? Yes, my fucking bank, okay? So many things have happened, okay? Yeah, they try to block everything, your finances, everything. But I'm going to continue speaking my truth, okay? Because I'm the messenger, and I'm going to tell the message, relay the message. I was in a park, and it was a nice day. There was a guy in a van, okay? Now, I'm sitting there minding my damn business, and he kept walking by me. So I noticed it, okay? Because I'm psychic, so I notice shit, and I'm intuitive, okay? Just like a lot of you guys are out here. So I said, okay, let me just put him on live, okay? So people can see what I'm going through, okay? He kept walking by, and I had him on live. Like, look, this is him. Look at him following me, gang stalking me, harassing me. This is what they do, okay? And some people, they eliminate you, okay? Yeah, they wipe you out, okay? But it was interesting that I got flagged on Anderson Cooper, not Anderson, Anderson Cooper. Shoot, something might be coming up with Anderson Cooper. He is a part of the Vanderbilt family. But I got flagged talking about Carson, Carson Tucker, and all it said was part 2, and I was flagged for that. I was like, wow. I guess they didn't want me that message to get out, but we all know what happened. I mean, it's obvious what moves he was about to play. I already seen it, okay? I seen his future, okay? And why he got out of Fox News, okay? He had a contract. They have contracts, you guys, okay? And there's no way out of these contracts. So he was smart. He said, I'm not going to follow the scripts, okay? I'm going off script, okay? Because he was trying to tell us what was really going on. And it's a harsh truth, but it's the truth, okay? And he's a millionaire. He don't have to want for nothing. He's still okay. And Fox paid him out, okay? Yeah. He got out of his contract and he got paid getting out of his contract. That doesn't happen. It's like playing chess. But he played his moves calculating and he played it right. Okay? Yeah. Because if you think about it, he has been on every news channel out here. So he has seen the in and outs. He has Republican friends, he has Democrat friends. When it comes to politics, there's no boundaries. Okay? And I'm going to say for entertainment purposes, we use discernment. Because they're all friends. It doesn't matter. They play golf together. They go out to eat. They don't see parties unless they're in front of the news, passing bills. That's when the parties come into play. Okay, but it's all a game. It's you guys. This is all a game. This is a play. Okay, think of it as a play. And we all are actors in a play, and everybody has a part to play in the play. This is what we're seeing playing out. Okay, we're all actors in their play. Okay, but I did get flagged, and I screenshotted it to show you. I'm not lying. I got flagged, and the title of the video was Anderson Cooper. Maybe something's gonna happen with Anderson Cooper because I'm keep hearing Anderson Cooper, and when that happens, normally that's a message, okay? But I'm talking about Carlson Tucker. I got flagged, you guys, for talking about Carlson Tucker, and all it said was Carlson Tucker Part 2, and I was going to do another video on Carlson Tucker. But I'm like, even if I would do a video on him, am I going to get flagged again? Because you can only get so many flags. And I took my name down. It says, our team has reviewed your content. And they're reviewing our content before we even put it out. Our team has reviewed your content, and unfortunately, we think it violates or misinforms policy. We remove the following content from your YouTube. Tucker Carlson's Reading Part 2. We know that this might be disappointing, but it is important to us that YouTube is a safe place for all. If content breaks our rules, we remove it. If you think we made a mistake, you can contact. It's right here. I shared it on my page. I'm not contacting them. They review everything we put out. They review it before we put it out. Okay, so they know what we're putting out. Okay, Meta, META. Okay. All right, you guys. So I'm going to end this video and start another video that is I want to really get into this video. I want to do a native read. You guys, I've been wanting to do this native read for so long. I even got the makeup okay, to put the makeup on and stuff, and call on all tribes and all nations, okay? Because when I do my reads, I'm pulling from your collective energy, your ancestors, and my ancestors, okay? Yes, this is why I said if you guys hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, because I'm also picking up on energy from the people that are following me. And your ancestors are behind me, just like my ancestors are behind me. And I'm on this channel to um, educate, okay? The best way I know how to educate. And I receive the messages and I'm just the messenger. That's it, okay? So the algorithm, okay? The algorithm, you guys. They just found a Native woman body. I think it was in Arizona, Nevada, or something. Wyoming. But it was interesting because she wrote a letter to her family. So she was kept alive. Okay, this is what's happening to the Native women. And I will do this read on the Native women. And I wanted to do it over fire. There's a reason why I wanted to do over the elements of fire. Okay. And I already ordered all the stuff. Like I was going to be in my tribal, yes, and call on all tribes, all nations, ancestors to give me strength to do this read on the Native missing women. Okay, because I'm calling on all tribes, all nations. Okay, I will still try to do the video, even if I don't do it the way I want to do it. I'm going to get it out. Okay, because it has to get out. There's too many. I know I'm going off topic here, but there's too many Native American women going missing. Okay, why are they going missing? Where are they at? Where are these Native women at? Okay, and I know what's happening to the Native American women. Now, somebody said in the comment, I'll never forget, they said, is there a serial killer on Native land? So if there was a serial killer for entertainment purposes, but use discernment on Native land, it would be all nations. Because missing women of different tribes are going missing. Navajo, Cherokee, what else? Blackfoot. So many Native tribe women are going missing. Okay? Why? There's not like a serial killer going to tribal land, tribal land. No, this is even bigger than that. Okay. This is why I needed to do the video on the missing Native women. Okay. Because they just found the woman's body. Well, they found her body. Okay. Her parents were crying. And she wrote a letter to her parents after she was already kidnapped. So they kept her alive. Then they killed her. Then they put her out there somewhere for alleged purposes, for entertainment purposes, but use discernment. Okay? Why Native women? Think about it. Why Native women? Okay, this is not just Native women. Okay, there was a guy that, and I feel like I'm an investigator. Okay, I'm doing investigating work. I'm not getting paid for it, but I'm getting paid from the Most High. Okay, this is why He's giving me the gift of sight, of discernment. Okay, and that's even better. Okay, but I will come on with the native read because that read has to be done. But I wanted to do it over fire, and when I get, I have to do it on and also I wanted to do it on native land, and I have talked to a native tribe. Okay, they're willing. Okay, to let me come on the reps and talk about this. Okay. But I was going to have a ceremony done, already prepared, pre-organized before I even went into read on native land. And I was going to call on all tribes and all nations. But I will do that read, and I will still call on all tribes and all nations to stand behind me. Okay. All right, you guys, this is Jennifer Felix. I'm talking about energetic trauma, um, all kinds of stuff I'm talking about. This is a time, I post some stuff here. I kept seeing a chalice, and I don't know why I was seeing a chalice. I'm like, why am I seeing a chalice? This is yesterday. And it led me to the scriptures, okay? Because I'm going to end this live. So I will come back on and tell you what I was actually seeing, you guys, okay? And what I was seeing was the 7 bowls of God's wrath. Each consisting of the judgment full of the wrath of Yeshua himself. Okay, Yeshua, the Almighty, the Omega, because a lot of people don't believe in him. Okay, these new age, these younger kids are like, we have the Christ conscience. Yes, we do, but there is an Omega, there is an Almighty, there's a feminine and masculine energy. Mother Gaia, Mother Earth is the feminine, and Yeshua is the Almighty. Okay, it's a feminine and masculine energy. Okay, it's like we all have a feminine and masculine side to us. But I'm going to come back on with that. What I was actually seeing was the Antichrist is here. This is what I was seeing yesterday when I was pulling cards and stuff. This is what I was shown. Okay, so I'm going to come back on. This is Jennifer Felix. Once again, I'm sending you guys love and light, my beautiful souls. Bye.